Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I also want to take time out to recognize those that catch me on the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. I am your host, Tricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. It is a blessing to be here with you tonight. As tonight I'm going to address your questions, your concerns as it relates to the upcoming school year. Now, we do know that Oklahoma is going to be opening up their schools here in the coming weeks. Our school in particular, I believe we have about 2 weeks here in the Oklahoma area to where the schools are going to be opening up. So, as you are logging on here with me tonight, if you know someone who has a child in public schools and you know that they have questions, please go ahead and like and share this video. Go ahead and tag a friend. Go ahead and send a text. Whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that they are here with us on this broadcast tonight, as I am going to try to address your questions. So while you are doing that, I'm going to put a few links here in the comment section. That's to give me time to put the links in, but also give you time to reach out to that family that may have questions. Now is a good time to come together and address our concerns prior to getting ready for the school year to start, so that we know what our options are and what that looks like for the school year. So go ahead and like and share this video. Also use your phone to call or text someone and tell them to come on and join us tonight, as we're going to address your concerns as it relates to sending our kids back to school for the upcoming school year. And I know that many of us have concerns. I don't necessarily have kids in school anymore, but I do have, I am an educator, so that is also a concern for me going in as on the education side of it, to being mandated to go back into the classroom with the pandemic and things still not under control. So if you'd like, go ahead and like and share this video. Go ahead and give somebody a call, a text, and tell them to log on with us tonight so that we can have this discussion and I can address the concerns that you have. Okay, I think I got all the links there correct. All right, again, like I said, I'm just addressing your concerns as it relates to getting ready to go back to school. I was told that Hugo's school is going to be starting up here within the next couple weeks, and parents and also some children are concerned about what their options are if they have to go back to school. And so this is why it's important to have this conversation tonight, because I am one of those that believe in preparing. I believe in preparation, being prepared, and making informed decisions, because so often we make decisions, but we make it based on what someone else says. We're not really doing the research or making those informed decisions. That means we're not making decisions based on what we know. We're making the decisions based upon fear, or based upon what we've been told through the media, or based upon, our emotions. We're ready to get rid of the kids. The kids need to go back to school. But guys, we are in year 2020. We are in the technological age, and everything is evolving. Everything is evolving. It's evolving with time. And in the past 6, 7 years that I've been with the Broken Bow School District, this is one of the things that I've always kept on the forefront, is to ensure that my students know how to use technology, because this is their world. They're in a world of technology. Now, some of us parents and some of us adults and some of us teachers, we have been more reluctant to using the technology because that was not our way. We were more of the traditional learning style. And so this is where we feel like sometimes going to the schoolhouse is what's necessary for our kids. And these are personal choices, these are personal opinions, what you choose to do for you and your family. But I wanted to come and share with you those options today, as I've taken time out today to do research and just sit and look at what the online and virtual public schools look like. And these are free schools. You enroll them in school just like you would at the local school, and their education is free just like it is at your local school. Only the school is accessed through your electronic device. So it's like you and I sitting here talking face to face. This is the way that they will interact with a teacher or an instructor, or be able to get their assignments and learn the content or the curriculum. And so in the comment section there, I put a list of schools, a list of virtual schools, so that all you have to do is click the link and the research and the information is there. Now, what do you need to enroll your child in a school and for them to access school from the online or virtual setting? Well, basically, a computer or a laptop and internet service. And we know that most of us have these things now, but if not, uh, these things are affordable, they are obtainable, and there may be some local resources that are also available to you that could offer you assistance with this stuff. Now, some of the schools that I put there in the comment section is saying that they also will provide those tools for you to use from home. So they're providing the laptop or the electronic device for the child to access content in their curriculum from home. So when the question is posed to me, what do I think? What do I think about our kids going back to school? I first put myself into consideration. How do I feel as an educator being told that I have to go back into the school setting to begin the school year? My personal opinion is I have my reserves on it. I really do. And not so much on just, being fearful of COVID or being fearful of being exposed, but just the fear or the reserve of not knowing. I watched the numbers in McCurtain County go up Every time news comes, the numbers in McCurtain County are going up, and people are coming and they're sharing their experience of being uh, positive for COVID and things like that. And these are people in the community to where I'm going back into, or expected to go back into, and to be exposed. And the thing is, none of us, meaning the teachers, the staff, or the students, know where any one of us have been or what we have been exposed to. So what I'm saying is, we don't know what the kids have done all summer. The kids don't know what the teachers have done all summer. The teachers don't know what the staff has done all summer. So we're bringing all this back into a building, or a facility, to where now we're going to be breathing the same air. Mask, no mask. Hand washing, no hand washing. Excuse me. Germs, no germs. I mean, how are you in your own home going to be impacted and exposed and spread this virus, a virus that is still a mystery to so many of us, and not think that we're going to come back into a larger setting and not spread this virus? Okay, so hey Keisha, how are you tonight? Tonight I'm just sharing the resources about the schools and answering concerns, and I know you still have one that's in school. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask your question, and I'm going to try to address it here and try not to hold you long. But I did, in the comment section, put several of the online schools, or the free public schools that are virtually. I did put them in the comment section, so all you have to do is click on that link that you want to look at, and it takes you directly to that site, so that you can do the research and decide whether or not virtual school is what's best for you and your family. And also feel free to share that with anybody else that you know that has kids in the public school. Okay, so I brought the resources right to you tonight. Okay, so I do have reserve, and not only me, I was in a virtual meeting, a virtual conference meeting with other educators all over the state of Oklahoma, and this was one of the main concerns that educators are having. What are their rights? What are our rights as educators? And if we have to go back into the public school setting, what does that look like? Especially for so many of us that are aging, and so many of us that already have underlying health issues. That is a concern for us. And so legally, we want to know what our rights are. We want to know what our options are, and what direction do we take when we go back into the school and we are exposed. So it is a major concern for Oklahoma. But as parents, I want you to know that even though it feels like us as educators don't have a choice, or that we're being forced for the sake of employment, does not mean that you as a parent have to put your child at risk and force them to go back into an environment that they don't feel like is safe right now. So you have options, and that is why I wanted to interrupt everything that I've been talking about to bring this here tonight, because tonight is what, July 16th, and you still have a couple weeks to research and make some decisions on what you're going to do with your child. Now, I have plans for alternatives for um, my local community. But then at the same time, as I begin to work and put my plans in motion for this local community, remember also, guys, that my space and my resources are limited. So whatever I decide as another option for families in this community, I'm still limited to the number of families that I'm going to be able to assist. So I had sent a Facebook broadcast out a week or so ago about other organizations and churches and things like that, that it's time now that we need to be thinking about solutions for the issues that are ahead of us. And I know that many parents, even in the store, I've heard them say over and over again, my child's going to school. My child's going to school. Okay, that's fine. We all have a right to choose how we want and what's best for our family. But at the same time, when you make decisions that could possibly impact your family in a negative way, you need to be making an informed decision and not an ignorant decision. Now, what do I mean by that, parents? I mean, don't make an ignorant decision saying, my kid is going to school, I'm sending my kid to school, just because you're ready to get rid of your kids. Don't say, my kid is going to school, I'm sending my kid to school, because you're sick of them and they've gotten on your nerve over the past 4 or 5 months that they've had to be at home. Don't do that. Make an informed decision by knowing what your options are, and then say, sending my child to the schoolhouse is what's best for us. Because it's time out for all this other stuff. Because guys, if we go into the school, and I'm not saying the child could possibly be the one to expose anybody to the virus, but what about us educators? Maybe we've been traveling, or maybe we're infected and we don't know we're infected, and we take it there to the school as well. What does that look like? We're already in an area to where we're disadvantaged when it comes to health care. We're already in an area to where we're high poverty, and our health is not as well as we like to think it is. We have so many other underlying health conditions, especially us aging teachers, okay, and staff. We are in an area to where, because we do live in poverty, we are in a poverty area. I am now going to pose the question before you guys. How many of you with young children in the household have a life insurance policy? Because we know that your child or your family being impacted by this virus could potentially end up with a death sentence. So this is the reality of it. So do we take the risk by making a decision that could have negative impacts on our family? Or do we look at the other resources and alternatives that we have? Have we addressed school administrations about what our options are and what they look like for our families? Have we looked at what are the alternatives for going back and then say the virus begins to spread from the school? So what is the school's plan? What is the administration's plan for then making the transition with our students? What is their backup plan? So these are questions that we really need to be asking. Personally, if I had a child in public school, would I be looking into an alternative setting? You betcha. You betcha 100%. 100%, that's where I would look. Now, also, would I be looking into local resources and alternatives? You betcha. Would I consider sending them back to school? That would be a conversation. That would be where I would be asking administration. That will be where I would be communicating with local educators and things like that and getting some opinions and getting some feedback. Because there is no way that we're going to be able to go back into a school setting, no matter how big or how small that school is, and completely not be breathing the same air or touching the same equipment and things like that, and sharing germs and whatever else. There's just no way, especially with the younger kids. But even with the older ones, they're going to be interacting with each other. They're going to be hugging each other and whatever else they do, touching each other and whatever else, So we have to eat. You cannot eat with a mask on your face. I don't know how that's going to happen. So we have to eat, whether it's in the classroom or whether it's in a cafeteria or wherever it is. And you can say what you want about the support staff and how they have to wipe down everything when the kids touch this or that. To me, it just seems ridiculous. To hear some of the things that they're saying that they're going to put into place, to me, it's ridiculous. Because if support staff in many of our schools, if it was half done before, what makes you think now it's going to make any difference? If teachers were half washing their hands before after using the restroom, what makes you think now it's going to be any different? If the kids were half washing their hands and urinating and everything else all over the floor and everything else before, what makes you think now it's going to be any different? Those behaviors, those habits that people have, this have not changed anything. So if I am not privy to washing my hands after I use the restroom at work and everything else, none of that is going to change. None of it. And so what many people want to know is, if I've been affected already, then how likely am I to be reinfected when I'm re-exposed? And that I do not have the answer to. But what I do know, vaccination or not, already exposed or not, with this thing, I know that the common cold, I know that flus and other viruses and things like that tend to recycle and re-inflame within our bodies, flare up again in our bodies. So that's something to think about, guys. We have a lot of choices to make. A lot of things we need to look at for our kids. And I would suggest, for those of you who are saying, I'm tired of my kids need to go to school, they need to learn something, that may be true. But let me also suggest that you make sure before you send them to school that you reach out to a insurance agent and consider a life insurance policy. Because not only are you putting your kids' life in danger, or at risk, should I say, maybe at risk is a better choice of words, but also your own. And what your kids may be able to fight